Hello, everyone. Great to see you. I'm Elizabeth Kipp, and I'm here with my friend Flavie. Can
Hi,
you please
everyone.
pronounce your last name for me, for all of us?
Yes, it's Berleand.
Barely. I knew I was going to make it.
There's an accent, but
Barely
I know
on.
that you
Barely
don't.
on. Very good.
Berleand.
Very good. Well, I'm so glad to introduce you to my audience today. Um, I met Flavie in the visibility challenge that I'm doing with Debbie Predator. She's leading it, but there's 9 of us that are doing this work. And it turns out we've got a lot. We didn't know each other before the challenge, but we have so much in common, which is
Yes,
typical of Debbie Predator to bring, you know, just the right kind of people together to kind of just synergize their whole experience. It's pretty cool.
so true.
Can you tell us where you hail from and what got you into the visibility challenge?
So I'm tuning from France, and for a long time I've been lived in Paris, and I was born in Paris, so I know sometimes people say, "Oh my God, you're from Paris?" Yes, I'm from Paris, and I left Paris like 3 years ago. And for me, visibility has been quite a challenge for me because for a long time I was, I'm good behind the scene, and I don't want to be the one who is seen. And this time I was, no, you know what? For my business, for me, for my kids, for the legacy I want to leave, I need to be more visible. And that's why I was, okay, let's take the challenge. I have, over the last 4 years that now I'm an entrepreneur, done kind of crazy things. And when I switch from French to English, it's like, oh, I need to hide again. And so I was, stop hiding. Your words need to be heard, and your voice need to be heard too. So let's do this challenge before for me, and after for the people I can serve.
Beautiful. So I'm going to ask you in a minute why you felt like you had to be quiet in the first place. But
Yeah.
before I do that, I'd
Yes.
like you to tell everybody what it is you do for a living.
So for a living, so I have left my 9 to 5 job after 17 years in human resources. I love human. So, for me, it was embodying the age of human resources. Unfortunately, in nowadays in companies, the age has a tendency to kind of disappear. And I was, okay, I have been working for so long to reveal the potential of my own internal client in the different company I've been working with, that I want to do the same, but for me, with no boss above me, where I can do my own way. And today, my main goal is to help you to reveal yourself, but reveal your essence. Because in entrepreneurship, I see so many people becoming a ship. And I want you to be unique and to reveal your unicity and stop hiding. Sometimes it's a gift that you have, sometimes it's a potential that you just are kind of afraid to show and demonstrate. And my goal is really to say, no, be visible, show who you are, but truly, authentically, and without any kind of limitation. So it's a kind of mix between life coaching and business coaching, because before having an aligned business, you need to know yourself. And more on the first part, but it's something that we see most of the time after.
Beautiful. Oh my goodness, how exciting. Um, so I'd like to know how it is that you felt like you needed to be quiet in the first place. What was that about?
So for me, and I know you're a specialist about trauma, it came from, my childhood, where when I was young, it was don't be too loud, be quiet, be a nice girl. And so I had to conform in a way to be seen, loved by my parents, and just do what I was asked to do. And after, when I started to grow up and work in a company, it was the same. You need, to stay within the line. You need to do as you are told to. But a part of me was kind of screaming inside, stop it. You don't have to follow the rules. You don't have to do like anybody else. And one day I just woke up and say, that's enough. I'm gonna do what I am meant to do. It was like for me a calling. My soul was really calling me to say, this is not your life. This is not where you are meant to do for the next 40 years of your life. And from that moment, I said, okay, I'm going to start a side also. But here, I was still hiding. Say, I cannot be visible. What if someone recognize me? I'm not supposed to have a side hustle. And I was still hiding myself. So I started by, kind of cheating using black and white picture. And I was a bit with on arms like this or that way. And I was, you will not recognize me. So that's how really for me it started till the day where one of my coaches said, no, I want a picture of you. And after I want a video of you. And here was the time I said, okay, it's time for me to step in.
Mhm. Beautiful. And what did that feel like for you when you revealed, all of you? What was that like? Just so you can help us, those of us that are still,
Hiding a bit.
wanting to be quiet and kind of in that frequency.
Yeah.
Tell me what the momentum was and the juice of how you
Yes.
got from that to I see the motivation, but that's also an internal job. So tell us a little bit about that.
So it has been quite a journey, honestly, because I may not appear like this, but I'm kind of a shy person and sometimes more an introvert than an extrovert. And I was, I cannot show myself because I always had also this feeling that because of my hair, I'm not like everybody else. And what if people don't like me? What if, um, they don't like my energy because I'm someone with a lot of energy? And what if, and so many, barriers that I was putting to myself. And one day I said, just stop those comments, those internal comments, and just do it, and you will see. And finally, when I started to do it, I did my first video, my second video. And one day I was let's play big and do a live. But not just one live, but 21 days because it's December, it's the month of Christmas. And for me, Christmas, it's the month I want to bring magic. And I said, okay, I'm going to contact people. And for 21 days, every night at 9 p.m., we're going to be live. I never did a live of my life. And so I did 21 days. And there it was where magic happened because I start to create that momentum and I start to have people who stay 1 evening, 2 evening, 3 evening, 1 week, 2 week. And they start to say, Flavie, what you're sharing is so profound. It's so beautiful and it's so refreshing that you replace Netflix. And I what? I replaced Netflix? Really?
That's
And
awesome.
people, were so, yeah, because we were sharing knowledge, we were giving some spiritual practices because it was all about spirituality.
Mhm.
And I was, oh my God, it's like I create a small community and people, start to talk together. Hey, how are your kids and your mama and your friends and blah, blah, blah. And I was, that's my second family. And when the 21 days stopped, I was, I want more. I want more of this.
Mhm.
It was like, oh my God, I that's something so beautiful. The love I received in return was just indescribable that I was, okay, let's do now a 365-day live challenge.
Oh, wow.
So that's what I started to do. And I was saying, okay, each day this is gonna be the topic I'm gonna share, the time, and people were coming, and it was like, okay, we have a cup of tea all together every day for 5, 10, sometimes it was 1 hour. And it was, so fulfilling because for so long, I had on the paper everything to be happy. Beautiful husband, I was living in Paris, perfect job, beautiful salary, family. But inside of me, I was, okay, no, I'm not happy. I'm just hustling all the time, working, working, working. But
Mm-hmm.
that, it was, my bowl of fresh air, if I may say. It was, oh my God, I have my friend, my community. This was me, the real me. And it changed everything. From the moment I became visible, I had like my true self who has been revealed. But when I switch in English, I came back to my demons and say, oh, I cannot show again because I have an accent and I'm not English, a native English speaker. And so again, I had to train myself and say, no. And after people say, we love your accent, it's different. So, you always need some time to come back to you and remember, why are you doing this? And now I have my kids and they say, okay, I want to learn English. And my daughter, one day I saw her, she took my phone and she started to record, a meditation. my God. And this is the example that after you are providing to your kids, and this change finally that you
Mm,
are bringing.
beautiful. You're really you're really describing to me from my perspective of the journey from the head to the heart. From
Exactly.
living from living from the mind, the logical mind. I got trained as a scientist and as I raised as a child, it was all about, the mind. The heart was
Always
not
about one.
like it was a thing that beat it, that was like kept us alive, but that was just not a
Yeah.
that was not a reference point.
Yeah.
And and um and that's, that integration, right, of the mind and the heart, and bringing the body, the whole thing, the integration, I think is really the I was thinking today about what is it about, what did I do that was extraordinary? Like if I had one thing in my life, what is it that I did? And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I became an integrated being. Right.
Yeah. I
I feel
love
like that was really extraordinary. So, and you're talking about that very thing, and what a great thing for your children to have as a model,
it.
for they're going to get a head start on this stuff.
Yeah, for me, when one day my daughter came and said, Mom, I love what you're creating on Canva. Can I use Canva? I was, okay, you can try, but not so long because I don't want you to be in front of the screen. And she
Uh,
said, but what if I'm creating stickers? And I was, huh. And what do you want to do with the stickers? I can after sell it. And I was, okay, we can maybe open a shop on Etsy, and that's
uh,
for me how after I help her too to become visible, to dare, to show up and talk about what she's doing. And so every time she had a friend coming at home, it's,
awesome.
Mom, can we create some stickers? And for me, it's all about be the example because it can
Yes.
be easy to say you have to do this, but you are not embodying what you are saying. And for me, it's important to be that example, even if it's completely imperfect, but showing, yes, sometimes it's difficult. Yes, you need to deal with your mind, but always come back to your heart. And when you are aligning, for me, your mind and your heart, this is where you are fully aligned. And as you were sharing, when you just embody it, you feel it. You feel
Mhm.
that you are moving differently, you're talking differently, you are just vibrating differently. And
Mhm.
for me, if I know that my vibration is different, I know that there's going to be a ripple effect with the people around me.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Beautiful. Um, so another thing I'm just curious about, because I know I'm older than you, and my son's grown. Um, he's an adult now, right? And he's been an adult for a while. And I'm just wondering, I spent most of my time as a mother and as a wife tending to them, tending to my son and my husband. Um, And it wasn't until I really went into a pain management program that they were like, no, you gotta, you gotta tend to yourself first and then, you know,
Yeah.
like then they get the overflow of what you have, right? And that was a new concept for me. I really was put into service as soon as I was old enough to walk. And I
Mhm.
didn't, yeah. So how are you managing the self-care and the self-nurturing as a mom, right? And a
Mhm.
wife and a business owner? What's the equation look like for you?
So, I was before a mom of two, and when I was on my way to quit my job, I become a mom of three, and I discovered I was pregnant. So I was, oh my God. I was trading one baby for another baby, but finally I ended with two baby, a new business, and my real baby. And I have to admit that it hit me, it was 4 years ago when one of my coach told me, Flavie, it in life it's like in the plane. If you have a moment, where the pressure drop, you need to put the oxygen mask on you first. Otherwise, you will not be able to save your kids. And that I was, you're so right. And it helped me, to gain consciousness that if I don't take care of myself, Today I'm sick, I'm in a bad mood, or if anything is happening to me, who's gonna be in charge of them? Of course, I have my husband, but a man will never replace a mom. Let's be honest. A man will never
Oh,
completely
they're
replace
just different.
a mom. That's
Dads are
different.
different than moms. That's just
That's different.
it's a
And
biological fact.
so for me, oh, that's so true. So I start, to take time for me. And honestly, sometimes I was feeling if I don't have my me time, if I don't take some time where I just retire myself from the rest of the world, I was in a bad mood. I was in a dragon mood. And who was paying? My kids and my husband. So
Mhm.
that's so interesting because it was something I didn't sew, before. And now my husband understood that, okay, if I want a growing business, I also have to travel. And it's for me about communication, connection, and it's about also sharing what you are doing. Because I could say to my husband, okay, I'm going to the US. What for? And when I'm sharing why I'm doing this, why it's important for me to go there, he understands, and it's easier to say, okay, I'm in charge. You can do whatever you need to do. I'm in charge of the household, of the kids, and for me, it's also my me time. And that's how I'm by sharing what I'm doing, why I need it, and it's expressing, finding your own need that you can find the help in return. But daring to say, I need that or I need to do this was not something easy for me because I've always been in charge and I don't like, to give the power or the control to someone. But
Mhm.
when I understood that I need those moments for me to
Mhm.
take care even better of everyone, it was
Mhm.
really a big shift.
Beautiful. So important. So important. We don't, it's really important to switch that perspective and understand how empowering it is to us and to everyone else, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, uh, is there anything else you'd like us to know about? Because you're talking to an audience that is healing from chronic pain, chronic stress, and addiction. Is there any, and also people that are interested in ancestral work, because I also do that. Is there anything you'd like to tell us about what you do that kind of intersects with this world here?
Well, before maybe sharing about this, there's some things that happened to me that I would like to share because I know that sometimes when you are in pain, it can be physical pain, it can be mental pain. You are just cutting yourself from the rest of the world, but even your inner energy. And I remember that when I was 28, a doctor told me that I could never have kids. But
This is
before,
something you and I have in common, by the way.
yeah. And inside of me, no, I can hear the diagnosis you're giving me, but I will not accept it because my body, I know, and I feel that I don't know how I will one day be able to have a baby. And you need to manage the very hard and harsh word of the doctor who don't, give you any time to, accept. They don't telling you this with empathy. It just blah, raw, direct, painful. And I remember I cried so, 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 so much because I was not even engaged. And they are telling me I cannot have baby. I was since 8 years with my boyfriend, who became my husband. Did I just ruin 8 years for nothing of his life because I cannot have baby? And so it took me a time, to just say, okay, I don't know how, but I'm going to manage this. And I had that faith in me, not in anything external, but in me that no, my body is my temple. And no matter what people can say to me, I will not listen to them. And I will just trust what I'm feeling deep in my womb. And what happened, it's after maybe 2 months, I just went to see an acupuncture. And I was okay. I'm ready to try anything natural, because they say we cannot do IVF to you because you're gonna be menopause, so there is not even a try possible to you. I was okay, so let's try something different. And after a month, I became pregnant naturally. And I was waiting, to have my period to go and see my
Very interesting.
gynecologist. And
Wow.
I was, I'm sorry, we need to cancel the appointment because I'm pregnant. And it was, how is that just even possible? And inside of me, it was, I believe in me and I had faith in me. And that's where the magic happened. And after, the story was continuing and say, no, you cannot have a second baby because after I had endometriosis and I was, laying on the floor, full of pain. I remember that for it was
So
a
painful.
year, New Year, I was so much in pain that I lay 30 minutes on the floor in the toilets. And my husband was coming to me, are you okay? Of course, I'm
Of
not
course I'm
okay.
not okay. No, the
Of
answer
course,
is
I didn't
no.
know, what to do.
Oh my
And
God.
even though
Poor
I
thing.
become pregnant a second time of my boy. And we were, how is it even just possible? And in my family, my mom, my grandma, my grandma have all been menopauses around 40s because they all had cancer, uterus cancer. But I get pregnant at 40 years old. So I kind of, break the um, the
Broke the
pattern.
cycle.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
broke the cycle and I had again a boy. And I was, oh my God, I'm turning 40 years old. And I remember the last gynecologist I saw said, okay, for your endometriosis, or you take a pill for life. And if you want a third one, we need to maybe do an operation or whatsoever. And because my second son was born with a very rare disease, I say, no, I will not have any further child because I don't want to take a risk. If I have a boy, maybe he got the same disease and it's very difficult for my son. And I say, I don't want two kids, to be in pain. So for me, it was over in my head. It was, I will never have any more kids. But life has decided things differently. And sometimes it just be surprised because honestly, when I add the information I was pregnant, it took me 3 tests. No, no, it's not working. It's too old. I need to do a second one. And finally, when I discovered I was really pregnant, I was stressed because I was on my way to quit my job and I was, how can I run a business with a baby? And finally, I did it. So life will often give you some challenges to demonstrate how strong you are, how resilient you are, how courageous you are. And in the moment, you don't see it. But for me, 99% of the time, there is a gift behind all those challenges. But it requires to have faith, to believe in you, and sometimes to surrender to bigger than you. And for me, this is where I discover things I kind of never even imagined. So I hope that this can, I'm not here to give you hope, but say that maybe you feel that in you and it just increase that feeling of faith.
Oh, that's a great example of believe the diagnosis, but not the prognosis,
Yes.
right? I mean that a lot of us in this space know that well.
Yeah.
We've been pronounced that certain things are going to happen, and it's like you know that that's the diagnosis is one thing, the prognosis is another.
Exactly. And there's what you believe,
That's
and
right. Yeah,
I
it's
had
kind of
a
that
grandma.
inner.
Yeah, your inner talk, for me is so important. And I remember when I was teaching, spirituality to say, okay, what is your inner talk? Because we are bad mainly of water. So if you have bad conversation with you, if you take Hashimoto experience, you see how the water will transform into something, with spike and not nice form. But if you have love talk toward yourself, you see
Mm,
that your cell and the water have a completely different form. And for me,
mm,
I was used to have a lot of bad talk to myself. And
mm,
I
mm.
started to change this. And I saw in my body that nowadays, yeah, I'm still have pain from endometriosis, but I don't take anything. I don't take any pill. And I believe in my body that it can, in some ways heal by itself. But you need to trust your body because when you think everything that is happening, you don't think of your breath, you don't think of your heart beating every second. And for me, your body is just pure magic of what is possible.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, you know, I kind of look at it this way. It's just the same thing you're saying. I just have a little bit different way of saying it. I give 80%, sorry, 20% of the responsibility for my healing to the entire medical community, like
Mm,
any healer, the whole world. And the other 80% is up to me.
yes,
And the intelligence, the healing power lives here.
yes, indeed.
So, and what I mean by that 20% is they do the kind of the diagnosis, they have their knowledge and their wisdom, and they lay down the conditions.
Yeah,
These are the conditions that we think are optimal. If you do these things, then you'll heal. But they can't heal.
yeah,
They can set a bone. Doctors can set a bone or stitch up a wound, but they can't tell the body how to heal. Only the body knows how to do that.
yes.
So
And
we have to take responsibility and follow orders, follow the guidelines,
mhm,
but do everything we can to support the body and then just get out of the way. Like my
yeah,
judgment about I'm not healing fast enough is getting in the way of my healing, right? So
but something I have been discovering, it's when you are sick, when you have a disease, most of the time the medicine gonna just shut down the pain for the moment. But what is the root cause?
that's
And
right.
if I'm looking where my endometriosis is coming from, now that I have this consciousness, that's obvious. That's completely obvious. Why do I have this? It's my body who is responding to something that happened to me. And when you and I have a full book and I'm so, passionate about this because your body is talking to you. And how many times, you have some issue with your throat, and I have, issue with my thyroid because for a long time I didn't dare to talk, to speak my truth. And it's like,
There you
okay,
go.
there's a time,
Bird
you
chakra stuff. Yeah, of
yeah,
course.
there is something to express yourself. The fact that I wearing glasses, what I don't want to see, it can be a part of me. It can be something in the word. And I truly believe that your body is here to talk to you and say, okay, don't have a look just to, okay, why are you in pain? But where is this is coming from? What as your body is telling you? And most of the time, one simple example, I had, my neck which was blocked because in my job I had to take a huge decision. And when I opened my book and said, okay, what does it mean when you cannot block your neck and so on? And when I read it, because you don't know in which direction you need to look after, I was, oh my God, that's exactly my situation. So I took a very hot shower and I was thinking, okay, according to me, to my soul, to my heart, what is the best thing for me, not for the world, not for my kids, not for my husband, but for me
Mhm.
personally. And when I start to, okay, that is this because blah, 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 blah. After I end my shower, I was able to move my neck because the consciousness came, okay, I know why I'm blocked. And once I make the decision, it's okay, what I have to do, my body starts ready to respond. So when I'm having sometimes some client and it's okay, I have all those disease, I say, okay, just have a look what your body is telling you. Because your body is just here to say, warning, you are not listening to what I'm
Yeah,
saying
that's
you.
right.
So I'm gonna hurt you. Maybe you're gonna listen to me. And sometimes we still don't even listen. And
Hmm.
so you don't have to wait till it's become very important or severe, but take that time sometimes to analysis. Okay, why do I have that back pain? Maybe because I'm holding too many things on my back, because I'm holding my family, because maybe I'm holding the financial situation of something. And when you start that way, to see the images or what
Hmm.
it can be,
Hmm.
sometimes you can start to feel a kind of healing in a way.
That's right. Yeah, that's a big part of ancestral clearing is letting the body tell us what's, really focusing on not the mind, but the body, and it's like it reveals. It's very interesting. So important, and we understand this in this group. So
Um,
I'm so glad you come to talk with us today, and to introduce you to everyone. Can you tell everybody how we can get in touch with you?
So to get in touch with me, the easiest way is with Facebook. So you look to my name, Flavie Berleand. I know it's
Okay,
not
great.
easy to pronounce. And after you can send me a messenger. The best is to ask me as a friend. Otherwise, you may end in my spam box.
Oh,
And from there, after, if you want to follow my journey or be part of my journey, you can have I have a newsletter. I'm less present on Instagram. I'm starting to come back slowly to Instagram, but honestly, with the Facebook group and so on, I find it easier. I don't have to think about my feed.
mhm,
And so for the moment, I was more focused on Facebook. And if you want also to listen sometimes to more wisdom, healing, and other spiritual things, I have a podcast called Aligned by Design, because for me, when we are
mhm.
born, by design, we are aligned, but the life and the world, society sometimes make us and create misalignments. So in this podcast, I just help you to see who you are, reveal who you are, accept who you are, and be in alignment with your soul, which is there in you.
Beautiful. My goodness. So you've got your marching orders, everyone. That's excellent. Well, also, you're part of the Be Extraordinary group as well. And we'll post this on that page.
Yeah.
Um, uh, welcoming anyone here. It's a women's networking group who's interested in coming in and just discovering kind of what is it like to be visible and what is it like to be your authentic self. You don't have to, you don't have to come out of hiding if you're hiding. It's wherever you are is fine, right?
Yeah,
It's exactly where you need to be. So
exactly.
I'll put the links to well, Flavie's she's, let's see, are you on LinkedIn? You're on
Yes, I'm
LinkedIn as
also on
well. Yeah.
LinkedIn. I'm
Okay,
also on
so
LinkedIn. Yes.
so you can connect with her and LinkedIn as well, but she's more on Facebook and she's got a group there, and check out her podcast. And we'll put the links to that in the comments once this gets posted. Thank you
And
so much, Flavie, for
thank
coming
you
and
so much.
spending
And just
time
for
with
the
us.
be extraordinary, I just want to remember to everyone that
Mhm.
you are extraordinary. And we often forget about it. So just be surrounded by people, tell you and remind it to you. Sometimes it's good for your soul. And sometimes when you see someone taking an uncomfortable action just to become visible, it can be the small things that you need also to say, okay, now maybe I need to share my story because I truly believe that we all have something to share with the world. And your story may resonate with someone else and help them in a way. So sometimes it's just request one decision and 2 seconds of courage. It's okay, I'm ready to share my story. Because maybe you recover from a huge disease, a pain, or from a trauma. And it can also help other people to say, okay, I've been able to do it. And it saved me maybe in a way. So if I've been able to do it, you can too. And for me, just, to share that message of what is possible. And it's what makes you also extraordinary.
That's right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for spending time